On this episode of the Level Up Lounge, we talk to Barry Vanover. Barry runs a very successful martial arts franchise in Premier Martial Arts, currently has 83 locations in 3 countries. Craziness. And he's also helped many other school owners to achieve greatness and develop great systems within their school. So without further ado, let's jump right in to the Level Up Lounge.
You're listening to the Level Up Lounge podcast.
Level up.
Level up.
Level up. Level up.
Level up.
Level up.
You're listening to the Level Up Lounge podcast.
Welcome to the Level Up Lounge. As you heard in the intro, we have a special guest from Premier Martial Arts. Many of you know him, Barry Vanover. I can't wait for you guys to hear his story. It is awesome, and he gives a lot of great insight that he's gained from working with martial arts schools all over the world. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that. We also have changed the formatting a little bit for our podcast. Usually after our interview, we'll have our triple kick segment where we review different services and products in the martial arts industry. We've actually replaced that, and I'll give you guys the reason why in a little bit, with a new segment that we call A Punch in the Face.
A punch in the face.
And A Punch in the Face is a segment where we're going to give you guys sort of a little tip or a dose of reality on something that you can do to level up your life or to level up your business. And it's something that I'm just going to share with you from my experience. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that. I love the triple kick segment, but I was just thinking that while products are great to help you guys, I think it's even better for us to focus on bettering our mindset and getting in the right mentality to be successful in our training and in our business. And that's what A Punch in the Face is going to be all about. Well, without further ado, let's jump right into the interview with Barry Vanover. Barry, we're excited to have you on the show. I know many people have heard of you in the industry that follow our show, but maybe there are some people that haven't as well. Can you just give us a quick background on how you got into the martial arts and sort of what your journey has been?
Okay, sure. I studied a Chinese form of, I guess it would be called karate when I was a kid and into my really early 20s. And then from there, I did some American Kempo with Greg Silva's organization. And when I started doing consulting with their company, United Professionals, and then moved on and, Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu, has been our mainstay in Kali as far as our curriculum for the past several years. As far as school ownership, I opened my first school up in late 80s, literally 89, maybe 90. Struggled along with trying to teach just adults and that whole concept. And it put me in a place where I was actually, 95, 96, was living inside my martial arts school, sleeping on a couch in my so-called office, taking a shower at the local powerhouse gym every morning, and saving up a little money when I could on the weekend to stay in a crummy hotel so I could have a bed and watch TV. From there, I finally was faced with the decision of closing shop and going back to which had been my plan when I got out of college, was go back to law school. I had no money, and there was this lady that was in my adult class who was an accountant, and she really liked what we were doing and believed in what I was doing. And she sat down and she's like, all right, let's figure out how much money is it going to take to give you 6 more months to try this. So we figured out the amount, and she let me borrow the money. So I knew I had a 6-month window to stay open. And then I sought out professional consulting and professional help, and paid the lady back and kept on going. And years later, I have my own chain of martial arts schools or licensing, Premier Martial Arts. We have 83 locations in 3 countries. I have 5 corporate locations in my city in Knoxville, Tennessee. And yeah, the rest is history, and I have my own consulting firm and get the opportunity to work with some really amazing, amazing people and amazing school owners and, get to feel good about helping other people achieve their dream and in the martial arts industry.
That is such a great story, and it's really great testimony for other school owners who may be struggling right now. And it should also give them hope because you went from dire straits living in your school to owning one of the most successful franchises in the industry. And I have to say that a lot of the premier martial arts schools that I've been to are really top notch, and it seems like they all have really great systems in place.
Well, that is our strong point. Consulting in the martial arts industry has changed due to the advent of social media. There's so much great free content out there. Um, but a lot of owners, I think, it's kind of maybe even hurting them. They think they're getting a lot of free information, and they are, and a lot of it's great. But our strong suit is systems and taking every aspect of a school and systemizing. And and Premier, we've been lucky to work with some great school owners that were really hungry to achieve success, and they're just willing to make dramatic change. And that's where I was at in my career. Is I was about again living in my school, raking and scraping for every penny I could get, and forced with closing shop. And so at that point, man, I had nowhere else to go but up, and I was willing to change anything. So, to me, when a school owner is at the point where they're willing to listen and to make dramatic changes for what's beneficial for their business and their family, and taking their wants and needs out of the equation, that's when a guy really can make some paradigm shifts and really grow. The dangerous school owner is that school owner that what I call lukewarm. They're kind of on the fence. They're not starving. They're not getting rich. They're not going to get rich. And they're kind of so afraid to make change for the lack of failing or going backwards. But yet the same reason of afraid to make changes won't propel them on forward. They're kind of stuck. And those are the hardest owners and people to deal with.
So you may have just answered the next question I was going to ask you, but what would you say is the one thing holding back school owners from being successful? Would you say that's it, that they're just afraid to change?
Yeah, I think it becomes a little more of they're afraid to face facts. They're afraid to face the first fact of them asking the powerful question is, who am I? Do I have what it takes? Because until they take a really hard self-examination at themselves, in dealing with school owners, and listen, I love this industry and I understand this industry. I know these guys. I know the typical school owner is an A+ personality. I get it. And I know we're doing art, and I know guys have studied styles their entire life and they identify themselves with their style of martial arts and their ranking. But they've got to really take a good look at who they are and the skill set they have. Are their wants and actions congruent with the goals they've set? Meaning, whatever goals they've set for themselves, are they doing the things that's going to get them there? And too often, they just don't realize that the actions they're taking are never going to lead them to the goals that they may have set or the aspirations that they may want, because they're not looking at themselves. They're not, being a business guy and a businessman is totally different than being a great martial artist. And, you know this yourself, that you meet guys that are amazing martial artists and they just don't have a good martial arts studio and can't run a good business. Those are two different skill sets. Vice versa. There are business guys that are a little more business minded out there, and their martial arts is weak, and they're teaching in a method that's not going to keep a lot of students and so forth. So really, the first thing is an owner taking a look at what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and then deciding to expand on their strengths and correct and replace anything that could be a weakness. If they can't do it, they need to find somebody that can. They don't have the system. They need to get the system and train other people to do things that they're not good at. So really taking a good look at does an owner do they have the skill set to run a successful martial arts business? And that's different than just teaching classes.
Excellent. Now, I know that you interact with school owners on a daily basis. Is there a specific set of systems that you often see missing in certain martial arts schools?
Well, that's a tough question, Adam, because when I deal with owners, they all come to me in different,
Sure.
for consulting, they're at a different level. I get the average guy that's already consulted with two or three other groups for whatever reason, and now they're trying me, and so I kind of look at what they're doing and what they need. Some guy comes to me, and frankly, he's signing up an average of two or three people a month, and he's barely paying the bills. So I know we have a crisis here, and we have got to do first things first, which is he's got to get more students in the building paying money so he can survive. So marketing becomes that guy's primary focus and primary need. But if you're over across the board, when I talk to school owners, they all are trying to figure out lead generation and how to get more students.
Sure.
They don't realize that the sales process is different from marketing, and the sales process is so important and enable them to bring in as much money as they can from the sell, making sure the sell is smooth. Letting someone try 8 weeks of martial arts classes and then talking to them halfway through that, or letting someone just try a couple classes and see if they like it, that is not a sales system, and that is not marketing either. So I guess the long-winded answer to your simple question, most school owners come to us, or that we see, is they think anyway that marketing is what they need. They think their classes are great, their retention is great, they just need more students. So that's their concern, is marketing, usually at the beginning.
Got it. Now, having seen a few premier martial art locations, I can say that the inside of these schools look great. The lobby is really clean, modern, and welcoming. The mat area is extremely clean and organized as well. And the reason that I'm mentioning this is because I still see so many schools that look dusty and cluttered with little tchotchkes everywhere, like they're part of Chinatown. Is this something that you still run into?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that all the time. They have dusty trophies everywhere, and they're frankly, a lot of people's schools look like a 10-year-old boy's basement that's doing martial arts. Yeah, they're not. There's no continuity, no professionalism. Premier Martial Arts is 14 years in now. And when we set out for the design and the look and the image, I knew I wanted this. I didn't want and forgive me if anybody's school is red, white, and blue. There's no problem with that. It's just that back 10, 12, 14, 15 years ago, my school was red, white, and blue. And that's just the way it was. And I knew I wanted something different. Starbucks was, of course, on the scene, but even probably more popular back then. So we knew we wanted something different. So we went with earth tones. That looks a lot like Starbucks. We had a professional designer design everything from our logo to the paint color schemes and things like that. Things that they knew was an energy that is appealing to people to train in and spend a lot of time. A big bright red wall that everybody's looking at is not conducive to them wanting to relax and spend a lot of time there.
Sure.
So and we knew that that the pro shop and the look of the school was going to be important. I mean, when you're asking for whatever, $125, $175 a month, or whatever, $225 a month for martial arts lessons, you got to provide a facility that matches that price point. So we took that very serious from day one.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on the look of these schools. Guys, clear out the clutter, dust everything, and I challenge all of our listeners to take action and do something to update their school this week. Get on it, guys. Now, Barry, I'm sure you get asked staffing questions all the time, but when you're looking for an instructor, what are some of the qualities that you look at to see if this person is someone who is committed, will stick around, and add a lot of value to your location?
Right. Adam, the thing about staffing that I found when dealing with so many martial arts schools is usually an owner, not, of course, I'm talking generalities,
Sure.
not every owner, but a lot of times owners have people working for them because they're available,
Yep.
because they're willing to work very, very cheap, because that person has the time and doesn't have anything else going on. And the fact that that person is so available probably means that person is not the one that is going to help an owner take their school to the next level.
Good point.
And then the flip side happens also. A school owner does find a guy or a girl, someone that has great potential and great focus and great admiration for the industry, and they want to work hard. But I've actually heard owners, insist that an owner is not trying to develop these people um, for fear of creating their own competition. So to me, that's completely opposite because, I literally had an owner not long ago say, well, what if I train this person? I get them to manage the whole place and they can do it without me. I'm like, yeah, but what if you don't get that person to that point? How are they going to help you? You're wasting your time, energy, and money. So, finding the right people and understanding a program director or program manager doesn't have to be a black belt. Um, you don't need the rock star Team Paul Mitchell guys to be your instructors. Now, it's great if you find a good quality one, that high level of a martial arts athlete. That's great if you find one. But a lot of times, the good, normal, average martial artists, whether you raise them in your school or we're big on hiring outside our organization into our schools, finding the right people is a process and it's important. But the most important thing is training those people to a high level. I honestly feel that most staff members come into their position highly interested, motivated, and wanting to do a good job. It's usually the owner that fails to train those people to a level that they can be successful in their position and they can have a big impact on the business. Now, whether that's lack of systems to teach their staff, lack of focus to do normal, regular staff training, or the fear of creating their own competition, whatever the reason is, to me, that's usually the downfall of staff is somehow the owner dropped the ball.
I could definitely see that. Now, one of the things that I'm obsessed with is personal growth. I believe that if you want to have successful systems in your business, then you need to have great personal systems in place as well, such as things like daily routines. Do you have any daily routines that you do that sort of help kickstart your day?
Yeah, I'm absolutely a creature of habit. I like to get up early. I like to do a little meditation, a little whatever you want to call it, man. Connect with your higher power. Realize the three things every single morning that you're grateful for, and try to make them not always the same three things, just so you realize where you are in your life, and that always puts everything in focus and creates a sense of overall well-being and happiness to start your day. Um, I've been big on time management, and I keep all my information in one place and do my planning and goal setting. Which without goals, you're lost.
Sure.
Without goals, statistics to track your progress, and the ability to change in midstream to get back on track, you're kind of lost in where you're going. I think physical fitness is a big key aspect to keeping your mind sharp and keeping your body and mind together. So, I'm still training every day.
If you don't follow Barry on Facebook, he posted a picture a couple weeks ago with his shirt off, and it looks like he's getting ready for a role in a superhero movie. The dude is jacked.
I don't know. I put that up there, and I'm not that guy. I know people see me doing the Ask Barry V show, and I'll do the Black Belt Success Business topics I put out on social media. But I'm actually kind of a quiet, little bit laid back guy, believe it or not. And I put that up there, and I thought it was a good idea. And I'm like, you know what? I put that up there because I wanted my premier martial arts owners and people to know that I'm still in this. I'm still training. I'm still working out. And, you should be too. Mr. I'm 50 years old this year, and Mr. 32, 35-year-old guy that for some reason is teaching martial arts but not training, that was for my people, but I took it down because the next day it kept bothering me. I'm like, I don't want to be that person, and whether right or wrong, or maybe I thought too much of it. It's just my Southern personality not to do stuff like that. So I ended up taking it down. But
See, I didn't think it as that. I actually thought it was, I thought it was a good example for other like martial arts school owners and stuff. Cause, I've referenced this before in one of our podcasts, but I know there's an image that's been put on Facebook of like the evolution of martial arts black belts, where like the first degree black belt is in like great shape. And then as the degrees get higher, they just get a bigger belly and bigger belly. So I thought that was cool that you posted that, just because I think it lets other martial arts school owners know that, hey, they need to be actively training to set a good example.
I might just put that back up then, but we'll see. We'll see. I appreciate it, and I think, and that's what it was intended for, honestly, because I think guys like Dave, Mr. Kovar, is such an example.
Awesome.
I'm not sure how old he is. I think he had his 58th birthday last week or something to that effect. And, seeing him still banging it out, and I think is the role model that we need, because what is all this about? It's about personal development, mental and physical personal development through the martial arts, But we were talking about personal growth, and I'm all about personal growth. And I read one book that is a business book, then I'll read one more like philosophy and spirituality book, and then I'll go to a sheer fiction. And I rotate through those because I don't want to constantly be reading the same thing. My mind just won't allow me. It needs entertainment. So I rotate through that. But, what I'm not big on is the rah, rah, rah stuff. I've done the Tony Robbins 30-day thing, and I've been to Tony Robbins workshops and seminars, and it's great. It's great. But, motivation without results. And I do think that some people need that motivation just to get up and be willing to do something. So if that's the person, then that serves them well. But for other people that are already motivated and want to work hard and willing to work hard, and they do work hard, well, they're already motivated. They don't need cheered on. They don't need the rah, rah, rah. What they need is a system, a plan of action,
Sure. And I think I'm one of those people where like the Tony Robbins stuff, I can watch it for a little bit, and then I'm more motivated by like knowledge, I think, than anything else. And
exactly, that's my point.
So I totally get that.
Show me, if you want to motivate me, show me your results and show me how you do it. And then I'm going to leave excited and pumped, and I'll do everything, little things step by step,
That's awesome. Now, we always like to end our interviews. We have some like fun, quick fire questions that we do. You segued a little bit into the first one. So we ask all of our guests, what's the one book that you're reading right now, or the book that you recommend for our listeners to go pick up?
Oh man, I liked the last business book that I read was Never Split the Difference. I can't remember who wrote it. Never Split the Difference, which is kind of like a sales mentality. But the book I'm reading right now is a Viking book out of the Warriors Chronicles. That's my current read at this moment. And then the book that I've just bought is, can't even remember the name of it, but it's more on the line of self-defense. Not The Gift of Fear. I've read that one. I don't know the name. Somebody turned me on to it, and I just downloaded it on my iPad. But it's more of a high level study of violence. Okay. That might not be the exact name, but that's the next one.
That's interesting. Cool. What's your favorite martial arts movie of all time?
Enter the Dragon.
You and Dave Kovar.
Everybody says that, but that was the defining movie when I was a little boy. So
awesome. Do you have like a pump up song for when you work out, like the song that helps get you through your workout?
Oh man, Adam. So many. I put on my beats, and I have like just massive. My wife makes fun of me. I have like 4,000 songs on my phone.
That's me too.
And I just rotate through them. I don't have that one song that's going to get me pumped, but I will give you my son's favorite song right now, which is "Lovely Day" from the soundtrack of Pets. I think it is.
Okay, nice.
Uh,
My son loves that movie.
yeah, that's our driving to school song every morning. "Lovely Day." So, and that one you can't listen to that song and not get in a good mood.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right, so I really appreciate you taking time out to be on the Level Up Lounge with us. And what we do for all of our guests is a special thank you. Is we make you a special DJ mix of like your favorite workout songs. So we're doing one for Dave Kovar right now because he was our last guest on the show. So there's gonna be a Dave Kovar training mix. So we'd love to have a Barry Vanover training mix that you can share with your followers and your schools and all that stuff. And we'll make
how many songs on that, and I will get you something.
We usually do like 12 to 15, so we make it about a 45 minutes to an hour mix.
Okay, I'll send you 15 songs, titles, and the artist.
Yep, and then we'll take care of the rest. We'll do the licensing and all that stuff too.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your insight and just taking time out to be on the show.
If anybody is interested in what I do, there's now one website that you can see a lot of my stuff on, and it's simply barryvanover.com. And if they follow my YouTube show, Ask Barry V, they can ask their questions for me there on that website now.
That's awesome. And if you guys haven't checked out Barry's show, it is really informative just because you get a lot of questions from school owners of maybe things that you didn't even think about to ask or didn't know to ask, which is one of my favorite aspects of it. So definitely check that out.
And I love this. I've been listening to the past few of your shows, and I think the one-on-one type interview concept is great. So you're doing some good work. Keep it up.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And again, guys, go follow Barry. And Barry, thank you for taking time out to be on the show.
All right, sir. I'll see you soon.
Wow, what a great interview with Barry Vanover. I find his story really interesting in the fact that he could have had everything go wrong, and he could have had a limited mentality when he was living out of his school, but he found a way. He clawed and scratched until he became successful and then came up with a plan and took it to amazing heights. So I think it's really encouraging for anyone that's struggling right now with their business that we sort of look at his story and see how he is able to rise out of the ashes and create something amazing. And it just shows all of us that it's never too late to build your dreams, and it's never too late to succeed. So I just hope you got a lot out of that, as I definitely did. Now, we're actually changing up the format of our show a little bit. We're getting rid of our triple kick segment for now. I wanted to replace it with something that's going to help our listeners with their mindset and something that they can put into action right away. While I feel there's a lot of great martial art products out there, I felt this would be more beneficial to our listeners. So we're going to call this new segment a punch in the face.
Now it's time to take a punch in the face.
So here's why I picked this name for this segment. I feel like a lot of times when I'm reading a book or listening to a podcast, something just sort of resonates with me, and it's almost like a punch in the face. It wakes you up. Sometimes it hurts, and sometimes it makes you realize that you need to get better in some areas or change something. But instead of actually punching you guys in the face, because I know many of you guys are martial artists as well, I thought this would be a great segment that I could sort of share some successes with you, or just some different mindset things that have helped me, and hopefully it'll be able to help you guys as well. So I wanted to expand on something that I talked with Barry about, which is your daily routine. When I first started my business, I did not have a daily routine. I didn't have a personal routine. I didn't have a business daily routine. And since implementing this and working on it, there's been drastic differences. For example, I wake up in the morning and I have a plan for the day now. I know exactly what I'm going to be focusing on. I know exactly what I'm going to get done. I also know what distractions may occur, so I can be aware of those to overcome them and to stay focused on my work and stay deeply focused in my work, not just focused on it. So here's what I do for my daily routine. Everyone has their own thing, but this is something that I've sort of been developing over the past year. And my business mentor has helped me with it as well. And I went through a 30-day course just that was pretty much focused on developing and executing your daily routine. So I start each morning, I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And this just sort of helps me get into the right mindset right from the start, because there's so much negativity in our world that I think it's important to start off with something positive to your day, because if you don't, you're just starting in debt right away, in positivity debt right away. So I start with 3 things that I'm grateful for right in the morning. The next thing I do is I write down my top 3 priorities for the day. And these are the top 3 things that if I get these things done, I consider it a successful day. So I used to do a huge to-do list, like 15 things I'd write down. And the issue was, like, on some days I would get a lot done, but it'd only be like 3 things on the list, and I would just feel like it was a really unproductive day, when in reality it wasn't. I got 3 important things out of the way. So I prioritize and write down my top 3 things. If I hit those 3 things, then I may add some more if I still have time to work on those. And then I'll also write down an overall goal for the day. And sometimes it'll be things like planning out a marketing campaign for the next 6 months. So it'll be something big like that. Sometimes it'll be something just like small, like finishing a project that I've been working on. But I'll have one main goal or main theme for the day. Then I'll also map out my day each hour in the morning, knowing that sometimes things aren't going to go according to plan, and that this plan I have for the day may change, but at least I have a general outline for what times I'm doing things, what times I allocate to spend with the family, what times I allocate for work or meetings or so forth, and I have that all laid out ahead of time. Then the end of the night, I think the routine here is just as important as your morning routine. So the end of the night, I'll write down lessons that I learned for the day. So maybe I had some sort of failure or challenges throughout the day that I learned a lesson from. And maybe I learned that I need to plan out things better, or that I need to sort of take my time more on certain things, or that I need to talk to this person in a different way to help get my message to sink into them. But I'll write down different lessons that I've learned. Then I'll also write down my wins or my brags for the day. So I'll write down my victories for each day. So maybe I knocked out all 3 of those top priorities. Maybe I had a breakthrough with a client, or maybe I just had a great day with my son and got to spend a lot of time and quality family time that felt like a win. So I'll write those things down. And then lastly, to sort of end my night on another positive note, is I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for tonight. So it may be things that happen during the day, and I try and make it 3 different things than from the morning, just to always keep a positive mindset, and that way I'm going to bed in a good mood. This is something, guys, that I think has really helped my business. There's also a cool product that you can use that sort of will help keep you organized with all these things. And it's called the Self Journal. It's the website you can get it at is bestselfco.com. And basically it has a lot of these things listed out, and space for you to write them down in the journal. And it just makes it really easy for me to stay consistent with these things. So I encourage you guys this week, set up a daily plan. Actually, not even this week, set it up for tomorrow. So write down the 3 things you're going to be grateful for, have a daily plan, write down your 3 top priorities for the day. Also write down your main theme or goal for the day, and then go from there. So I hope it really helps you guys to sort of keep your personal systems in place and to stay organized and on track. And it also allows you guys to strategize, so you can get the most production out of your day as well. So take that or leave it, but I hope you guys take it and make great strides and become super productive and are able to level up your life. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next episode.